charity is calling for volunteers as it tries to cope with demand during the current COVID-19 crisis. Go Dharmic is working all over the country and also has a base in India. One of its activities has been supplying healthy Asian meals to communities during the current crisis. Hemal Randerwala is the founder of the organization and he joins me on the line now. Hemal, good evening.
Hello, Satwinder. How are you?
I'm very well. Tell me a little about Go Dharmic and the idea behind the organization.
So Go Dharmic is really about the idea of Dharma and that, it's our responsibility and our duty to be compassionate and care for people around us, especially those who are suffering. So it's really about Go Dharmic is a call to action and to request people to come forward, stand up and help people that may be suffering.
Has it got a basis in Asian religions?
So a question we often get asked is, is it a religion or a religious organization? Because I think the word Dharma sometimes has religious connotations, but I would kind of ask the question back and say, is helping people a religious thing? And probably, helping people who are suffering is the most religious thing you can do. So I think the idea is extremely universal. It's for anyone. So any background, any person can help another person. And that's reflected in our volunteers who come from all different backgrounds.
What's the last few weeks been like for you?
So homeless feeding and, feeding people is at the core of kind of our charity, is one of our main activities. And on the 25th of March, for the first time in many years, we decided to stop our street feeding to kind of work alongside the government guidelines for social distancing and, work to prevent these measures. But at the same time, we launched a phone line to try and help people who might be isolated and stuck, homeless people who've been moved into shelters. And it's been inundated with calls for help. And we're really distributing meals door to door to elderly people who are isolated. And so far we've delivered over 24,000 meals to people. So it's really been kind of an incredible kind of movement of compassion.
What are the main challenges you're facing in getting these meals to people?
So we have lots of volunteers who have been coming forward to help. We want to reach more people in more cities, especially in Derby now. We want to move into new regions where we can actually deliver meals to people who might be isolated and suffering. I think some elderly people are saying that, they've not had a hot meal for 3 days, 4 days, and they, might have language issues. And these are the people who, they've given us love and compassion their whole lives. Now living alone, it doesn't sit well with us. So we want to make sure that we deliver them nice hot meals that they're used to having. Not just that, is funding is a real issue at the moment. I mean, for whatever the government's saying about reaching the ground level, we haven't seen anything come through as a charity. Everything that we've done so far is what we've raised on a Just Giving page and just individually ourselves. So I don't see that coming through from the government or from higher levels.
And I just wanted to explore that a bit more. The government has identified 1.5 million people who are, highly vulnerable, and they're trying to get help to those people. We're now into the 3rd or 4th week of the lockdown. From what you're saying, that help is not reaching those people. And how do you fit in, and how do you work with the authorities to make sure that different people, different organisations aren't stepping on each other's toes?
So, Satwinderji, we've had councils calling us saying that we don't have the funding to feed the homeless people that have been coming into the shelters that they've been asked to do. So we've been actually feeding people that the council are looking after. We've been delivering PPE to hospitals that are asked to look after COVID patients that have been taken in, but they don't have adequate PPE for their carers. So, wherever we've been able, the gaps are large. Right? Like right now, whatever big statements are being made, on the ground level, there's still huge gaps where people are not receiving meals, people are not receiving adequate PPE, and we see that on the news every day, right? So this is just something that we're trying to do as a volunteer community, and, we want to get more people involved to try and fill those gaps.
And you said earlier that you want to extend your operations into Derby. Tell us about your appeal for volunteers. Who are you actually looking for? How can people decide whether they're the right people to volunteer with you?
Well, we're just looking for anybody who wants to help people right now. So that, it might be that if they're isolated themselves, they can help us to find homeless people that have been taken in who need meals. They might have a community of elderly people who are isolated and need meals delivered to them. Or they might have a hospice that needs help with meals, or a hospital that requires meal support or something. So, in that way, there's many ways that people can get involved and help. And the best way is to really visit the website, godharmic.com, or call up the phone line 0207 112 8853. Or even remotely, just by supporting, by donating. Every penny helps. We started a Just Giving page. It's raised over £20,000 so far. And each one of those pounds goes towards feeding people. So we're really a charity that's kind of just based on volunteers. We don't have any administrative expense, no office cost, no admin, like, major charities out there that might have high admin bills to cover before they actually reach the people. Here it's just about us giving to the people.
And Hemal, just tell me about some of the safety precautions you're kind of imparting to your volunteers, because people will be a little bit nervous in going to other people's homes or coming into contact with other volunteers, etc. They're putting themselves out there. What kind of precautions are you taking as an organization to make sure that your volunteers are kept safe as well?
So we have a health and safety officer that leads a training session with every volunteer that comes forward. We have 3 or 4 sessions a week, and we have PPE for all of our volunteers. We maintain social distancing, and quite importantly, what we do is we do not go into anybody's homes, or we don't, deliver in that way. So really, it's a pickup and it's a drop to doors, and then, maintaining distance and maintaining a lot of safety in that way. So, we've taken a lot of precautions to design a campaign that doesn't go against, what the government's trying to get everybody to do. We're here to help and not exacerbate the situation.
Sure. Just remind us once again, if somebody is interested in working with your organisation, they want to volunteer, how do they get in touch with you? Where do they go for more information?
They can visit the website, which is godharmic.com, and there's a button there to click volunteer, and someone will be in touch with you straight after that. So it's very simple.
Hemal, thank you so much for talking to us this evening.
Thank you, Satvinder. Take care of yourself.
Satvinder Rana. BBC Radio Derby.